Hi, my name is Giannakou, and I'm coming at you today from PRPL at home, virtual visiting writer. So I mostly write short stories, and recently I've started writing some creative nonfiction as well. Um, and I have not just one favorite writer, but I have a slew of favorite writers. So I'm going to go through my litany of favorite writers. A lot of them happen to be fiction authors, and a lot of them happen to be short story authors. So we're going to start with a gem who I discovered a couple of years ago, Molly Antipal. I read her book called The Unamericans. It's an anthology of her short stories. They're all centered around similar themes. It's fantastic, and I'm not sure that she's written any other book. As far as now, she hasn't, but she teaches creative writing, and she's great. So Molly Antipal is one of my favorite short story authors, The Unamericans. Another one who I love, Ottessa Moshfegh. She happens to write fantastic short stories. If you like, let's say, Flannery OConnor, if you like that dark sort of Southern Gothic, she is not Southern Gothic, but she certainly writes about some dark stuff. So one of her great anthologies that I read is called Homesick for Another World. That has fantastic short stories that she's had published in various journals. And she's actually one of the few short story authors whose book, novel, is just as good as her short story. She wrote a book called Eileen, and again, it's fantastic. She has a couple of other books too, but I would recommend for short stories Homesick for Another World, her anthology, and her novel Eileen. Just fantastic stuff. Of course, Flannery OConnor. If you like Southern Gothic, if you like short stories, she's a master. Of course, you read her in high school, and probably you're familiar with the complete short stories, the anthology of all of her stories, and it has a peacock on the cover. It's a great book. I own it. I've read it many, many times. She's fantastic. Another writer who I discovered in the past couple of years is Edith Perlman. She writes short stories. I'm not aware of any novels she's written, but her anthology, Binocular Vision, was really inspiring to me. Okay, so Edith Perlman is another of my favorite authors. Notice I don't just have one. Leonel Shriver. Not sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but she is a she, regardless of her first name. She writes a lot for, let's say, Harper's. I think I first discovered her nonfiction writing in Harper's, but then I read a couple of her short stories, and I decided to get her book, Property, out of the library. It's an anthology. Fantastic. Just, she gets so into characters, and her characters are not always easy to like. And that's also what I like about Ottessa Moshfegh's characters. So, Property, Leonel Shriver. I just discovered this woman within the past couple of weeks, Nancy Ludemann. She does creative nonfiction. She also does short stories. The short story that I read by her that so impressed me was called A Simple Case. It's an excellent short story. It should be taught in high school as far as I'm concerned. It's that good. Another of my favorite authors I don't have a card for is Rosario Castellanos. She's a Mexican author. She passed away, I think, in the 1960s. She was prolific. A lot of her stuff hasn't been translated into English, but the one book that I read of hers that was translated into English that was great, a novel called The Book of Lamentations. It's great. It's historical. It talks about the whole cultural interplay between the indigenous people and the Europeans in Mexico, and it's told in a fascinating manner. So Rosario Castellanos and Nancy Ludemann. The last one of my favorite authors, Nikos Kazantakis. So he's written a lot of stuff, creative nonfiction, novels. Not aware of his short stories, novels. Zorba the Greek. I know you've probably seen the movie, maybe you haven't. The book is a whole other level of fantastic insights, not just into Greek culture, but into the human condition. And Nikos Kazantakis, Zorba the Greek, if you have not seen the movie or read the book, read the book first, and then see the movie. The movie is almost equally as awesome. So that's it. I'm Giannakou. I write short stories. And my writing tip for you would be to read. And read to what you aspire to be. Don't always read New York Times bestsellers. Don't keep reading the same newspaper and magazine again and again. Like if you're a short story person, don't just read the New Yorker short stories. Read what you aspire to be and really take time reading other people who have mastered the craft of writing. And that's it. Hope this helps. Bye.